Hello and welcome to your number one tech show. This is Take on Tech. Today, we have an amazing show for you that is hopefully going to challenge you. We'll be talking about matters virtual reality, this and so much more. Grace Githaiga has an interesting discussion in Tech Talk, so this is the place to be. Remember, the hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1. My name is Stephanie Ayieta.
My name's Henry Mugo. I'm a Kenyatta University student pursuing education. Is it like the Google Meet? Like you video? Okay, I would like to kuuliza by the ni kama ile Google. Ni explainie kidogo.
My name is Aurel Latino. Virtual reality, it's like something that is virtual, is something that, okay, maybe I can explain, okay, I don't know really how to explain it, but I normally see people like wearing some glasses or something, and there is something there that it's virtual, so you might think that you are in another world.
I've had an experience gaming. It felt real at some point, but then at the back of my mind I just know it's not real, so yeah.
Mostly I use VR for video, for 3D and 360 video, since I find it a very fun way to explore by doing short documentaries or theatrical play. We are really experimenting because the technology that we would like to have is not there yet. But I find VR as, you know, we had games in 90s on PCs, so it's a long time before it will be on the level that you can actually don't feel the difference.
Okay, what I can simply say about virtual reality is in a form of you get involved in something that is maybe directly connected to your mental ability. I.e., I can say an example is a good. These recent games that have come into the field where someone plays and feels like he's mentally attached to the game. So I can say that about virtual reality, I have a good reasoning about it.
Those are some of the responses we got around the understanding of virtual reality. And we want to ask you the same question. What is virtual reality? Talk to us. The hashtag is TakeOnTech at KBC Channel 1. In tech news, a Kenyan tech firm, Sayari Labs, has launched a nanosatellite into space. And internationally, we want to look at the science of predicting earthquakes. How possible will this be in future? More details into this in our tech news roundup. Sayari Labs has successfully launched a nanosatellite into space aboard an Indian rocket on the 10th of February. The piece is like the board inside a transistor radio, where components that make the radio work are soldered together to align with the circuit. The board sent to space features high-tech processors and space-grade components all crammed into a small space. It was made to work inside a satellite called Janus 1, developed by an American company named Antares. Now, imagine a radio that allows many such boards to exist together in one enclosure. The Kenyan board was among 7 made by firms from different countries that were incorporated into the Janus 1 satellite. Makers of the board, who are based at a new office in Donholm, enclosed it in a locally made aluminum casing. The casing left room for cables to enable it to connect with other components inside the Janus 1. In the coming few days, months, the satellite will start functioning fully on low Earth orbit, about 450 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Then, the Kenyan component and others will start sending data to enable their various makers to carry out various tests. The ultimate goal of Sayari Labs is to have a network of satellites orbiting the Earth and helping Kenya gather information that can be useful for various fields like agriculture, forestry, border security, urban planning, among others. Kenya's reliance on other countries for data, said the engineer, limits the type of information it can get, noting that having its own satellites can solve that problem. Will we ever be able to predict earthquakes? This science is difficult. Geologists have been trying to use modern scientific methods to predict earthquakes since at least the 1960s, but with little success. According to the United States Geological Survey, it takes 3 things to produce a really useful earthquake prediction. Those are the location where it will happen, when it will happen, and how big the event will be. So far, they say no one can do that with any certainty. Instead, geologists produce what are at their best guesses in hazard maps, where they calculate the probability of an earthquake within a time frame of several years. While this can help with some degree of planning, such as improving building standards in the areas most at risk, it doesn't provide the level of prediction needed to provide early warnings to the public to allow them evacuate or take shelter. A group based in Israel recently claimed to be able to use machine learning to predict large earthquakes 48 hours beforehand with 83% accuracy. This is by examining the changes in the electron content in the ionosphere over the past 20 years. In Japan, some claim to be able to use changes in water vapor above earthquake zones to make predictions. Tests suggest these predictions have 70% accuracy, although they can only say an earthquake might happen at some point in the next month. Despite all these claims, none have been able to successfully predict when and where an earthquake will occur before it happens. And even with the ability to make better forecasts, there is still the question of what to do with the information. In Tech of the Week, we now delve into virtual reality to give you a clear understanding of it and how other disciplines are coming slowly into this space. Let's have a look. Cafe Project by the European Union hosted a symposium in Nairobi, Kenya to discuss the potential and importance of virtual reality in creating a hybrid environment for art and culture. Alexandra Lucas says the focus on the project is on possibilities that give new medium for art creation and art exhibition. They chose Kenya for this project because of its constant tech advancements, with many VR companies developing in the country. She goes on to explain what virtual reality is.
My name is Alexandra Łukaszewicz and I am a professor in cultural studies working at Academy of Art in Szczecin in Poland. I am also a president of Polish Society of Aesthetics, that is a beneficiary in the CAFI project, that is the project dedicated to communities and artistic participation in hybrid environment. The CAFI project is focused on hybrid environments that are environments of our contemporary lives, that is overlaying the digital and the physical in different ways, so that we can go online through our smartphone, we can go online on the web, we can be in a game mode, we can immerse in virtual reality, or we can have different kinds of augmented or mixed reality. So these are all kind of hybrid environments that are of interest for us. The kind of VR tour that we want to create with Mr. Mutuma Marangu, the founder of the Mutuma Marangu Sculpture and Art Collection, who is an art collector, Kenyan art collector, focused on big sculptures from Kisi region, especially made in granite, but also in different kind of minerals. Cafe project is a 4-year long project that is founded by European Union within the program Marii Skłodowska-Curie Actions Research and Innovation Staff Exchange Horizon Europe. So this is the program that is focused on staff exchange, but not only between academic institutions, but also companies, startups, associations, that is different companies and non-governmental organizations.
Mutuma Marangu, who was the keynote speaker, speaks on the position of his company, the Mutuma Marangu Sculpture Art Collection, in the adoption of virtual reality in matters art, saying there is still need for the physical aspect as much as he's in support of the tech space.
My name is Mutuma Marangu. I'm the founder and owner of the Mutuma Marangu Sculpture and Art Collection. I was privileged to be invited and happy to present the keynote address to the CAPE EU-related presentation at Kenyatta University for TMMSAC and its impact on digitization and digitalization, as starting from the physical perspective. Briefly, what we're trying to do is we're trying to widen and deepen the relationship between Kenya and the EU, and in terms of academic institutions that are involved in art, and to find new mechanisms for partnering and finding ways in which to increase knowledge transfer, and also to provide opportunities for Kenyans to pursue their interests in the creative sector, specifically physical art.
Mr. Marangu also believes that this will provide Kenya with the ability to enter constructs of the global art scene from a place of strength.
I believe that Kenya has a very keen interest on technological advances. We've shown that through M-Pesa and the adoption of M-Pesa. What is unclear is how that will show itself within the Kenyan art construct. It's because of that I don't believe I'm in the best placed position to say how it will evolve and emerge, but I believe that Kenya will be at the forefront of this adoption once it becomes clear the manner in which that process can be engaged.
Federico from Opera Network says no innovation came to destroy or substitute what exists, but give the possibility to enter the traditional field. He speaks of the relation between virtual reality and physical reality.
I'm Federico Bardazzi. I'm here with the team of Conservatorio Puccini La Spezia, together with the Italian team of Opera Network, involved in the CAPE project, which is, as you know, a Horizon-funded European Union project. What we are doing is not coming to substitute anything. It's just to enlarge, to give the possibility to enter in this so traditional field, like it is the music sector and the opera in particular, to open to new visions.
That has been Tech of the Week. I hope you have gotten something from that very informative feature. Now we want to move on to Tech Talk with Grace Githaiga, where she has been joined by Dr. Nyanchama for a very interesting discussion.
Thank you very much, Stephanie, for that introduction of Tech on Tech's interview section. In today's interview section, we are talking about startups. What are they? Are they easy to start up? So we are at the office of one Aaron Ogunde, who has published a book on all what you need to know about startups. and together with his publisher, who is also a tech investor, Dr. Matunda Nyanchama.
Usually, the startup journey is actually a journey of discovery. If you think about it, somebody has this idea, they know what service they will offer, what solution they are offering, but often it's a process, and they are not well informed of the surrounding elements, like you need to go to Kenya Intellectual Property and document and copyright your idea. I mean, protect your idea. You need to copyright that which you have written with the Kenya Copyright Board, for example. You need this as a way of ensuring that anybody then who benefits from that idea would also give returns to you. Yeah. There's a time, in fact, in this country where people used to go to conferences and they do competitions and they just present things and go home. And one day I asked a young man whether they had secured that which they had. And he wasn't even aware. And in turn, in part because of this problem of the startup idea, the journey, envisioning the end, is not clear right from the beginning. Two, in the environment, we don't have a very good supportive environment which people can go for, say, advice. You see, so if I'm a startup and I'm tech, say, tech health or fintech, how do I then proceed to produce that solution that then ends in the market and also gives me a job and earns me a living? That journey is not clear. For example, one of the things look at is how do you take your idea and make it something, a product, a service? Cost it, a business model. How do you market it? Who is your client? What solution are you solving? So all these things, in terms of the environment, are missing. And intellectual property protection is one of those where there is lack of awareness. I'm glad these days that there are few law firms that are coming up that do intellectual property, that help startups or any person with an idea to secure their intellectual property. They are able to weigh the intellectual property value, they are able to search patents wherever they are, and they are able to tell you that this is patentable. And Kenya Institute of Intellectual Property, KIPI, is opening up, and I think they have been doing more and more awareness. I believe they could do more in terms of sensitizing, especially people in technology, to understand. In fact, I think that, especially in school, in university, people should learn intellectual property and the whole thing around copyright and trademark as part of their courses, because this area of tech is very inventive. And our young people especially are teeming with a lot of ideas, big ideas that could change the ecosystem, not only to benefit them, but also to provide employment and help in economic contribution.
Tech on Tech, the interview section, takes a short break. And in today's program, we are discussing about all you need to know about startups with Aaron Ogunde and Dr. Matunda Nyanchama. Keep watching. You're watching the interview section of Take on Tech, and we are talking about startups. Please continue this conversation on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1 across all our social media handles. We continue with a conversation on startups with Dr. Nyanchama Matunda and Aaron Ogunde.
My name is Aaron Ogunde, and I'm co-founder of Damu, Sasa, and now I'm also an author of a book, which I'm pleased to be here today to talk more about. A startup has very many definitions, but the following one is my favorite one. A startup is a young company founded to uniquely develop an innovative solution that clients need but do not yet have. That is, my favorite definition of a startup, because I feel it captures the very essence and true nature of the startup environment and what it actually takes to get that product, that clients need and do not have, to them, and maintain that for them having that product. The first thing to consider is the problem that you're trying to solve, because most times you'll find people sit somewhere, develop a product that the client never really needed or never wanted in the first place, and so you're already beginning by losing instead of beginning by winning. So I would tell entrepreneurs out there who are thinking of starting that the most important thing is to understand that the challenges that your future potential clients are going through, and then now start thinking about ways in which you can solve those challenges, and whether we have someone else in the space who's at the same time helping to solve those challenges, and how yours can be different in helping solve the challenges for the client. So that is like step number one. And then now you come to building the product or the solution or the service that you want to use to help solve these challenges that you've discovered, by either doing research, by speaking to the people who that challenge affects the most. And most times you'll find that those same people will actually give you the solutions that they want for you to build for them. So that then leads you to what I'm talking about, step number 2, building the solution. Then step number 3 is basically taking that solution now to a pilot process. So we want to test whether this thing that we've built, we think can help solve your challenges, whether it actually helps solve your challenges. Because it's one thing to build something theoretically, from the feedback you've gotten from those future potential clients. And then it's another thing altogether to actually have that product that you've built fully working and comprehensively helping to solve the challenges for those people. So those are like the 3 most important processes startups have to go through. And most of the time you'll find, once again, those processes don't need money. They only need your time, your effort, and your willingness to actually come out in the end with a product that helps solve the challenges for the clients. Of course, now there are other things that follow that, because there's the whole idea of, now we have the product, it's working for our client. How now do we, go to the market? And, going to the market has its own elements. How do we price the product? Where do we sell it? You move from there, then you go to other things. How do we communicate that we have this product, that we have these successes? So all those are processes that I've done my best to document, so that entrepreneurs can actually have that idea of this is what it takes. Because most people don't start businesses because they think it's going to cost me a lot of money. So you end up killing a worthwhile idea when you actually really never needed any money at all.
Oh, really? So we should be thinking, so where does the place of profitability and sustainability come in?
So the whole idea of profitability and sustainability, again, comes down to the other processes that follow the business. When you start up, when you actually get your proof of concept, you've built a product, the client says, yes, this is actually working for me. So you now go to the market, and now you have to come up with these things. Okay, how do I price this product? Where do I sell it in a manner that will be sustainable? And how do I also validate the business model? Because one thing, from experience, and also speaking to other colleagues of mine who are entrepreneurs, is that we know how to build solutions, and we know how to take them to clients to test them, and the clients will say this is working well. But the one pitfall that we normally have as entrepreneurs is now validating the business model. So I've built the product, but does it have a sustainable business model? So for example, you will find examples of companies like Facebook, companies like Google. So they have these nice products, and most people would be, or rather would assume, that we are the clients who use those products for free, only that we're not the clients, the true clients for those products. The true clients could be advertisers, could be marketers, people who want that space or that opportunity to sell their products to people like us now who are going onto that platform to update, the coffee date I had, or to update this is, the family get together we had. So as I'm updating that, I'm also being sold to different products. So that business model validation also plays a great role in now building towards profitability and sustainability. It's very important that entrepreneurs get that correct, because you can build a very great product, it's working well, it has achieved, what we call the product market fit. Clients are talking good things about it, but if you don't get the business model validation correct, then likely that product will only be in the market for a very short lifespan.
That's it from our interview section of Take on Tech, in which we were discussing all you need to know about startups with Aaron Ogunde and Dr. Matunda Nyanchama. Please continue following us on all our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1. And until next week, goodbye.
That brings an end to today's show, but as you know, the discussion is not about to end. We have asked you, what is virtual reality, especially now that you have an understanding of it. Talk to us at KBC Channel 1 using the hashtag TakeOnTech. My personal handle is at Stephanie Ayieta across all social media handles. Let's converse. We meet next week, same time, same place. Until then, let's keep it tech. Adios.